Hi, my name is Rebecca Quinn, and I am here with Pat and Mike Cross, who are here from what years?
61 to
59.
Well, 50, late 59.
Late 59 to 61. And then we were back there again in 65.
Oh, so you were there
For
twice?
a few months. Yeah.
And you just for a few months the second time?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, can you tell me a bit about yourself? How did you end up in the lighthouse service?
Well, I started when I was 16 at Entrance Island,
Really?
and I was fed up with school, I guess. So I wasn't going to school, and I had to do something. So a fellow asked me, he was going away in holidays, that was Fred Mountain, and he had somebody from the NIMO to take over the station when he was gone, but he wanted them to have somebody else with it. So he asked me if I would like to go out to the station while he was away. So I did, and I stayed. After he came back from holidays, he asked me if I, would like to stay, so I did. And that was the start of it. And then I went away and worked for the forestry for a while, and went to Vancouver and took a diesel engineering course. And I came back, and Fred had moved to Sheringham Point. So I forget whether he asked me or whether I asked him whether, I could go. But anyway, so I ended up at Sheringham with Fred again. And it wasn't there too long, but it was nice being with Fred because I knew him, and he was a nice fellow to work with.
Right.
Yeah.
An important difference too was in 59, Mike had to take the civil servants test. Before that, the lightkeeper hired his own assistant and paid him out of his own wages.
Oh, really?
So that's why there was some lights that had some pretty extreme people.
Yeah.
And so that was in 59, late 59. He took the test, civil servant, and then from then on he was paid by the government.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that was a big change on the lights then. Yeah.
Raise in wages?
Yeah.
Right,
Nice.
imagine.
The wages on the lighthouse were not, they were just enough to get by.
Right.
Sheringham's the lowest paid.
Yeah, because
Sheringham was the lowest.
you
Really?
were connected to civilization by road, and you could have a car, and you could go into souk and buy your groceries and whatnot, whereas when you're out, like Scarlet Point that we were on, up in the north end of the island, all the groceries and everything had to come by ship
Right.
once a month.
Right.
So the wages were higher there because you had more isolation.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So you were at Scarlet Point then, and then where else were you?
He was first at entrance.
Entrance started off
Sheringham.
Sheringham and then
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Okay,
And then
so
Sheringham.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 lights, 4 times, yeah.
Nice. Which was your favorite?
Scarlet Point.
Said that today.
And so how long were you at Scarlet then?
4 years, wasn't it?
We moved up there in 61 and came back in 65.
And then you went back to Sheringham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, all right.
Yeah, one of our children had asthma quite badly. So he was going into Alert Bay Hospital quite often, and of course it had to be by float plane because the only way you could get down there. So it was getting expensive.
$25 a trip.
Yeah. And in those days that was
That was
quite
a
bit.
lot, yeah.
Probably a week's wages, yeah.
So we thought, well, we better get off of here. And also I gave a chance for David to have better medical care.
Right, closer in.
Yeah. So, so I offered Sheringham, or it came up, and so we went back to Sheringham. But the lower wages, we weren't any better off down there, so we only lasted a little while, and then we...
And then you left the lighthouse service?
left the lighthouse service, yeah.
And where did you go after that?
Actually, I ended up working for the Colwood Golf Course.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
mowing the greens and everything. For a while, and then after that, I got on with, I don't know if you remember Vancouver Island Coach Lines, the bus service that used to run from up and down the island.
I don't think I do. But
Anyway, I started driving for them, and I was with them about 21 years.
so you had quite a variety of careers, then, it sounds like.
Yeah, one thing to another.
Yeah, you must have seen a lot.
Yeah, it was interesting. Sheringham, it was nice because Fred, well, it was a different situation. Entrance Island, it was a little bit more complicated to get a boat in the water and whatnot.
Right.
So we didn't leave too often to go for mail and whatnot. But at Sheringham, as I said, you can go into soup and get your mail and groceries and whatnot. But also, it was good crab fishing off Sheringham.
Oh.
And Fred and I used to go out in a small boat at low tide because you could see the bottom, and it's all a sandy bottom all in front of the
Right.
lake there.
You
So
can
we
see
used
the
to,
crabs, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So we used to chase the crabs around with a big dip net and
Oh my
scoop them up. And after we got, half a dozen or so crabs, well then we'd
Go and cook them.
go and cook them, yeah.
That's great.
We had the regional library come down with their mobile
Yeah.
book thing too at the time.
Oh really? They were doing a mobile book service
They
at
had
the
a
library?
mobile library
Yeah.
that go around.
Oh, how
So
neat.
that used to come down.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so it's nice. And then the difference too between Sheringham and the other two lights was we had lots of visitors, especially in the summertime.
Right.
They'd drive down and they'd want to look over the station.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, you meet quite a few people that way.
Huh. How many would you say that you normally had there?
oh,
Maybe 100 in the summer.
100 in the summer.
Yeah.
My goodness.
We had one fellow who was a jet pilot.
Jet pilot.
Yeah. And when you got into the bottom of the tower to go up and see the lens, you looked up the steps and no, he wasn't going up. He was scared of heights. And
Really?
here's this guy.
He was a jet
who flies
pilot.
a jet, yeah.
Oh, that's not very reassuring.
No. But you've been in the tower at
Yes.
Sheringham.
Yeah.
You know it's all open.
all open
the-
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stairs up
It can
there.
be quite
so-
scary up there.
And
We
we
had a
could-
woman that froze on the
Yeah.
stairs.
She just wouldn't
Yeah.
move.
Yeah,
Oh,
she got halfway up and that was it. She couldn't move up or down.
You had to climb over to get her back down.
How did you get her back down? Just kind of
Just
tossed her down
you
or
get behind her, yeah, and as long as you were hanging on to her, she
move?
would move, yeah.
Wow. So you'd actually bring visitors up the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. They're considering doing that now, but I think at the moment it's kind of a health and safety concern. If
Oh,
meetings
yeah.
stay open.
Oh, it would be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
And is the light still government owned or is it?
No. So this past year, the Sheringham Point Lighthouse Preservation Society got a hold of the rights to the land and the station, so it is now under their care and control. So they're in the process of they just put in a solar farm, a little one, so that they can power the stuff that they need to on there, and then they're working on touching up the paint and replacing the broken panes, glass, and so on and so forth. So they're considering whether or not they can get the lens back, the original lens.
Where is it?
It's in the Souk Regional Museum.
Oh, we were told that wasn't from Souk.
Yeah.
That one.
So the one that's the big tower isn't. That I believe is from Triangle Island or maybe Trial Island. But there's like a almost a little log cabin-esque thing right beside it, and the lens is in pieces in there.
Oh, in pieces,
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
about the only way you could get it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I asked the question because we were on the East Coast on holidays,
Mhm.
and the East Coast was really hit by the destaffing of the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And a lot of them went to the parks people.
Oh.
But The building belonged to the parks people, but the light was still Coast Guard.
Oh, how
And
interesting.
Yeah.
They'd have it blocked off so people couldn't get actually up to where the light was, because that was government property.
That's really interesting. I assumed that they would have taken out the lens in most of the
No,
stations.
No, they still,
Yeah.
Goodness.
So that's why I asked that. I was
Yeah,
kind of
no.
wondering.
Well, the lens that was taken out was not the original one. The original one is the one that's in the museum. I don't actually know where the second lens went. I'm trying to track it down, but I'm not having much luck at the moment.
We heard that a lot of them were destroyed when they were taken out.
Oh, that's a
Well,
shame.
they
Beautiful.
couldn't be bothered to go through, a crane or anything like that to lift them down, so they just smashed them and threw them over the bluff.
Oh, that's so sad.
A lot of the stuff went down.
I was going to say, while we were there, the second time, wasn't it? The lens there on a base filled with mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got a leak.
Oh.
And we got a bottle of mercury from it before they sealed it, which
Oh,
is
really?
also in your soup museum. We gave it to them.
The bottle of mercury. Is
Yeah.
that- Oh, I
Well,
haven't seen that. I'm gonna have to go look for it.
yeah, where else do we take it to? Yeah.
Right.
It's been with us a while. Yeah, that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So how did you catch it?
Yeah, it was rather difficult to catch mercury.
Were you running around
Yeah.
the tower trying to catch it?
Even on the floor, yeah.
You just put the bottle under where it was slowly dripping from, didn't
The
you?
bottle, or was it during the earthquake that we had to chase the? We had to chase the mercury once.
Okay, well, that was the earthquake.
It was an earthquake.
That was
So
in
twice.
Yeah.
What happened during the earthquake?
Just spilt a bit of the mercury onto the.
Oh, that, yeah,
Yeah.
was spilled over the side, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, a lot of weight in it. Ooh.
But yeah, there's to say the people coming to visit the light was something we weren't used to.
Right. I mean, if you were in entrance in Scarlet.
Yeah, the entrance we never got anybody.
Right.
Scarlet, we had a few people.
Scarlet, we had,
Oh, yes.
yeah, shipwreck people.
Oh.
Yeah, or people going by road maps up to Queen Charlotte's.
Oh.
But
Yeah, it was surprising what people attempt. They have no idea what the sea is like.
Oh, I know.
One fellow with got a picture somewhere of
yeah.
he had, I think it was a 16-foot open aluminum boat. And he was towing an inflatable behind him,
Mm-hmm.
outboard motor. He was a salesman for the Encyclopedia Britannica, so he had a boat filled with books.
Oh no.
And the sewing machine comes in.
Yeah, the sewing machine, and he had an organ inflatable behind him.
An organ.
Yes. And
He had about 2 inches of leeway, and that's
Yeah.
all on his boat.
and he was going up to
The
Prince
Charlottes.
Rupert or the Charlottes or somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, and on the way he stopped and chopped down a totem pole to
Yeah,
go along with
yeah.
him.
What? You chopped down a totem pole.
To take
Totem pole,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
And
And he made it?
He made it. We ordered something from him just to see if he made it, and he made it. Yeah, we've got the order through.
What did you order? An
Oh, I can't
encyclopedia or a
remember.
sewing machine? Or a totem pole?
I think it was a book.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and somebody else came by in a speedboat. It was a little bit bigger, and with a cabin on it, but he had no idea where he was. He stopped at the light to see where he was, and it was he had a road map, either a Texaco or Shell road map, and of course, I mean, things aren't.
He thought he was around Port McNeil. or
Yeah,
something,
and
didn't
here he is way up past Port McNeil.
Oops.
And he was going across to some Bellacoola or some place across the sound.
Oh.
he? Have you spoken to Penn Brown at all?
No.
Okay, well, Penn Brown wasn't at Sheringham, but he was at Pine Island, which is the next light off after Scarlet.
Okay.
And they were the ones that were on it when they had the wave take out the lighthouse.
A wave to go to the lighthouse?
Yeah, and they were there for
Freak wave.
2 days or something before they got rescued. Yeah.
Wow.
He still works, or he was still working with the government. Yeah.
Huh.
So it's, yeah, and this is the water these people are going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get rare waves out there. And they're
Oh,
very dangerous.
Anyway, I've got to tell you my favorite story.
Oh, please do.
Okay. She says, please, please.
Okay, we were married in January '61,
Mhm.
and it wasn't long after that. We were living in that little house that used to be the radio guys, okay,
Alright.
during the war. But I thought I'd be a nice wife. You know, the light had to be cranked every 4 hours.
Right.
Okay. And you cranked it up, and then you put the board across at the end of the, and then weight would sit on the board till that nighttime, and then you take the board out, and it would
Go down.
weight would go down and turn the light. Okay.
Huh.
So this day I thought I'd be a nice wife. You bride that I was, stupid fool. I let him sleep, and I went over and I climbed the stairs. I wound up the crank, got it all the way up,
Mhm.
and then I had to push the 2x12 over the hole to keep the weight upright. Well, it didn't go over; it went through
Oh no.
all the way down. And Mr. Mountain always had a rag at the bottom where the weight landed, so it wouldn't damage the floor. And it was a nice big splash of red. So you got this looking at you. So I had to go all the way down, take the 2x12, drag it all the way back up all these, you know how many stairs,
Yep.
wind up the crank again, because of course it had gone down, put the plank back under it there. And then I went back and told Mike I wasn't doing it no more. He could do it from the hog. God, that was a trip. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that was my, last time I was a nice little wife. What you will do when you're newly married, yeah.
Scariest thing I had to do at Sheringham, they were painting the tower,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and Fred getting on in years,
Right.
so he didn't want to climb up on the roof of the dome
Mhm.
over the tower. So guess who had to do that?
You
And
did.
That's hot.
that's why I didn't mind painting the outside of the rounds and all the tower itself, but climbing up on top of that roof on the lens cover, oh man, I was sure glad to get off of that. That was scary.
I imagine. Were you
Yeah.
tied in at all, or was it?
I had a rope, but I don't know what. Yeah, I guess a rope around the. There was a weather vane on the top,
All right.
and the rope was tied along around that, but I don't know just how.
Sturdy that
Yeah,
was.
whether if
Oh,
I
gosh.
slipped and fell, whether that would hold me or come with me.
Oh, that's making me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that.
Workers' compensation was not around then.
No.
I imagine that.
Work
Wow.
safety, yeah.
Yeah, that was scary.
Well, I imagine. I mean, to get the job, you must have had to prove that you were fit and able and willing.
Well,
to
Well,
climb
originally,
that.
like I
Yeah,
said,
no,
it was the lightkeeper hired.
yeah.
Oh, at that point, it still was the like.
Yeah.
Well, up to 59, yeah,
Oh,
so
wow,
he
okay.
was before him.
Oh,
They figure if you lasted with a keeper for more than a year, whether you were,
you were good to go.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Yeah, that seems pretty scary.
yeah.
So.
Yep.
So did you have any similarly scary experiences with like maybe a rescue or anything?
Not at Sheringham, no. Had some good storms, but nothing that
nice.
endangered us or the light or anything like that.
Okay.
I don't know. Did you see Sheringham when it had the little shed outside by the engine room where?
Boat shed.
Yeah,
No.
because they had a powered winch
Oh, okay.
that the derrick was still there, was it?
I'm not sure.
No.
Hey,
Anyway,
I think it's been gone
If
for a
you,
while.
yeah, if you wanted to lift anything, that if the boat came and they had something to deliver, the derrick would swing out and lift it up and then put it on the platform by the boathouse.
Oh,
And or a boat, the station boat, you could lift that up and put it in the water. But it had this little engine in this shed, and it was old.
Mhm.
It was they called it a horizontal engine, like instead of the top being up like that, it was
oh, okay.
horizontal. And it sounded like a dog. And the thing about it was called a bulldog engine.
Really?
And there was just one cylinder on it, so it would go put, 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 put. And then to control the speed, the governor on it would open the valve that drew the air in.
Mhm.
But the valve was supposed to close if the engine was running, so of course when it was held open, then the engine lost power. So that's the way they control the speed of it.
Huh.
So we can go pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop. It's just like a dog patting away.
That's neat. I haven't heard that before about the winch and everything.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Entrance had the derrick but it was a hand winch we had on that one.
Ooh, that made
Yeah.
it interesting sometimes.
You had to put some effort into
Yeah.
getting your boat up.
Huh.
We used to watch the American ships go out and do their practice, target practice.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a hoot, because we'd hear them on the radio. They were talking to each other, you see, and the Americans would come out. Now, I don't know whether they were inexperienced or not, but the tugboat would come out with the target and tow it across, and then the boat would fire at it. See? Well, the boat would make a couple of shots, and you'd see the shells away down the straits hitting the water.
Oh.
And then the tugboat captain would call the warship and say, "Very good shooting." So he didn't come within miles of the But the Canadians would come out and they'd practice same way, doing the same thing. And when they fired, you couldn't see the target for spray because the shells would be all around the target.
Oh.
So we figured maybe we were protected a
Better,
bit better than
Americans.
The American one hit it once, the target. Remember, actually hit the target and they didn't know what to do.
Oh.
They were all in a big flap because the target got hit. The other thing we used to get too, at that time you had to turn the light on at sunset and off at sunrise, period.
Okay.
And you know, your weather channel tells you sunset 9:27. Yeah, right. If it wasn't on at 9:27, we'd get a radio communication from the Americans that were late turning on the light.
Really?
Cape
They'd
Flattery,
radio
would give us a call, you know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I guess you must have been able to communicate then fairly regularly with the other side if you needed to.
We didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
No, I don't know whether they radioed us directly or whether it was through the Department of Transport in Victoria.
As Fred would have gotten the message.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your assistant. Got to keep the status quo.
Yeah.
See.
And then once in a while, the assistant would sleep in, and then the light would stop going around because
the weight would hit the
light
bottom.
would hit the bottom. So Fred would come running over to the little house there and jump up and down on me to get me going.
What were the hours you used to work with Fred? Was he the one that changed it at 3 in the morning? 3 to 3? Or was that Pam?
No, it was midnight.
Midnight? 12 to 12?
Yeah.
And you stayed on it. You didn't? Did you alternate weeks?
No, it's
Yeah. So you always had the night shift.
Yeah.
So you went then from what 12 in the afternoon to midnight?
Yeah.
And midnight to 12 in the afternoon. So he would have had midnight to 12 in the afternoon.
Noon off.
All year. Period.
Okay.
7 days a week.
Oh.
Well, it was easier than
Changed.
changing back and forth. You know, you just get used to sleeping half the day, and then all of a sudden you got to be awake half the day. You know?
Right.
Yeah, so it didn't work too well.
And to get, for our wedding, he had to find his own replacement at the lighter. He wouldn't have been released to get married.
Really? Huh. So which station were you on then when you got married?
Sheringham.
You were at Sheringham?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So.
I met her in the forestry, and I was working for the forestry. So we were engaged for a couple of years, and then got married.
He got notice that he was going to get his transfer, and at that time they could give you as little as an hour notice that you're being moved.
Really?
So we knew we were getting Scarlett, and we were supposed to get married in June, and I wasn't going to wait if he ended up being sent up to Scarlett, so we jumped it to January. And I don't forget how much time. And everything has to be crated, not boxed. Wood crates, everything crated.
Huh.
And you're sitting like that waiting for
Yeah.
however long until they decide to move everybody.
Really? I didn't know that was that fickle
Yeah.
in terms of
Oh,
timing
yeah.
and transfers.
Yeah.
Of course,
Wow.
Sheringham wasn't too bad because when the moving truck came
Yeah.
and got the stuff.
Right.
But at Scarlet, everything had to be crated, and then it'd be our aerial carriage would pick it up and lower it down to the surf boat, and then the surf boat take it over to the tender, and then it'd be hauled up.
Wow.
When we moved up to Scarlet, they kept our special stuff, Mike's accordion, the budgie cage, all that stuff with us, right? That was the last load to go on the little boat. Yeah, right, that's the load that got stumped in the water.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just,
All the budgie survived.
the
and
budgie
accordion
survived. The accordion, yeah, right. They
The
floated for a
accordion
few minutes.
survived that.
Hmm?
The accordion survived.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, evidently they must have, grabbed it as soon as they hit the water.
Yeah, well, wasn't it the ball at the bottom of the
Could have been.
chain knocked
Yeah.
stuff over? Yeah, oops, so,
It was quite a.
Yeah.
A thing getting stuff for like groceries and what. Groceries weren't too bad because they would come in a big canvas bag, a sack or something, and they just work on, and then the winch would
Drop it
pull
off.
it up. Yeah.
Oh.
But some stuff, it'd be quite awkward trying to get it out of the surf boat and then airborne up to the
Right.
lake. Yeah.
I imagine that would be pretty
Yeah.
difficult.
And then lowering heavy stuff down, the person that controlled it was up at the light. And then at Scarlet, it was quite a ways down to the water.
Oh.
So you had to try and judge, you're going to hit that, because you hit a trip, and then the cargo drops.
Ooh.
So you had to be ready and stop it before it went through the bottom of the boat.
Oops.
Yeah.
and that's how you got your wood up too for winter
Yeah,
supply
Really? Same way?
down there,
Yeah.
yeah. So Sheringham was quite a bit easier,
And that, yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because you could drive, they figured lower wages, but you had more expenses. You had to,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
because the gas and car. Of course, the road was all dirt down to the right. Yeah. Yeah, we were supposed to keep the holes filled and all that stuff.
You're responsible for maintaining the road?
Yeah.
Really? Huh. I'm
Up
surprised that
to
the
up
DFO.
the highway.
Wow.
I don't know whether it was for the, up to the highway, because there was a family living there called Cross, old timers,
Wouldn't have been Thomas Cross.
probably the same family, yeah.
Was
Oh.
Gilbert the son?
Gilbert,
Gilbert.
was a, yeah,
Okay,
it was a
challenge.
son, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they lived in
That's funny. Thomas Cross was the second Lykeeper.
that was probably his
Yes.
family then, yeah.
Very highly educated people, but living very
Remotely.
hermetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. One time when we were walking down to the light from the road, I guess it was, we know we were followed by a cougar because you could hear it following along in the bush.
You hear it?
So, yeah,
Mhm.
you don't often hear them, but yeah, there was, so we figured it was the cougar following us.
That would be scary.
Okay.
That time we didn't
Mhm.
really think too much earlier.
You're out in the woods, what the heck, yeah. When we moved down from Scarlet, I was expecting Linda. We moved down in December and she was born in January. Okay. And, we were so sick, both of us, we thought it was food poisoning because we brought down food and we thought maybe the meat had thawed and then whatever.
Right.
So anyway, they called the ambulance for me, and apparently the guys in Sioux argued who was going to go because they didn't want to come out because they knew I was expecting. So they came down that rotten road to pick me up, take me into Victoria, went to the Jubilee. They didn't like me at that door. I was maternity. Go to the other door. So I go to the other door. They get me in there. They get in the elevator. We ended up on the morgue floor.
On the moor.
Yeah, oh, wrong floors. God. It was rather, yeah. So it
Not
was rather
encouraging.
roundabout. Yeah, it turned out it wasn't food poisoning. It was some sort of a flu because it hit mountains too, didn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah, Fred Mountain. Yeah, Fred and Nellie were both sick too. But anyway, yeah. But poor Linda, she gets just about buried and born in the morgue.
Your question about the ghost, I'm not really believing in ghosts, but Entrance had one that was pretty hard to explain because we'd be sitting downstairs in the living room and there was a door going down to the basement from the kitchen, and we'd be sitting there and the door going down to the basement would open. And you listen, and then the door would close. Then the door would open in the living room for the stairs to go up to the bedrooms and the light. You could never figure out.
And don't forget, that was Fred and Nellie who lived there at the time too.
Yeah.
Right.
So it wasn't him, but
Maybe he got the idea.
whether it was something shifting in the house, if
Yeah.
it cooled down or what, I don't know.
But I would suspect if it's Fred haunting the place, he would come after anybody who didn't do their job.
Yeah.
Or rough, really.
Was that up really? Was he a tough boss?
He was fair, but you know, you didn't fool around.
Right.
He used to paint the engine room floor spackled, didn't he? But he couldn't do it because he was too meticulous. We always got Nellie to do it. Yeah, that was
He made a pattern on a, I forget whether it was a cork float or something. And then he dip it in the paint, and then on the floor, so you have this pattern
Right.
all over the floor.
And we heard the next keeper thought that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did away with
To
it.
each their own. Yeah.
But he was a smart man. At Entrance Island we had old engines like the one on the winch at Sheringham, and the government, I guess in their wisdom, figured, well, they're burning too much gas, you know, to keep these engines running when it's foggy. So they came up with the idea they'd mix it with stove oil, the gas. Or, no, they'd use the stove oil to run the engines.
Okay.
Well, the engine didn't take too kindly to that, and they get, carboned up something terrible, you know. You might be able to get 6 or 8 hours of running out of them, and then you'd have to take them apart and clean everything up inside.
Ooh.
Because it was just coated with the stuff, you know, that came from the stove oil. So Fred got kind of cheesed off at this, and he started mixing a little bit of gas in with the stove oil, until he got it to a point where we were getting 20 or 25 hours out of the engine, and even when we took it apart, it, you know, wasn't really a chore to get it cleaned up. And, but the government started wondering why we were going through so much gas. But evidently they came to the decision, maybe it's a good idea. But, yeah. So that's the kind of guy he was, you know.
Yeah, I haven't heard many stories about him. So
He started off, he and Nellie at Carnana, and then Scarlet.
and then Scarlet.
They were at Scarlet, and then Entrance, and then Sheringham. And,
I had a choice when they were going to move us from Sheringham with Scarlet, and I forget what the other one was. I liked it. But Fred and Nellie had talked so much about Scarlet Point, they really loved it. And so I thought, sounds like a place, you know, to go. And it was.
yeah, it's a good spot.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Would you do it again?
Yeah.
At that age?
Well, at our age, no, I guess not. But,
Not now, but yeah.
Yeah. But then,
No regrets.
I mean, the only reason we left was because of the health of
Your son?
David with his asthma.
And that wasn't even diagnosed till we were back in Sheringham. He was in hospital once for, 4 months? 3, 4 months. at a
Wow.
time.
trying to
That's a long
clear it
time.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, otherwise, we would probably have stayed at Scarlet for quite a while.
Right.
Because you had you know, it was like being on a vacation actually, because the fishing was easy. You could go out and get your fish, and there was a fish camp across
Yeah.
what they call Christie Pass. And you could go there, and if you were feeling rich, you could get some groceries, but
Mm-hmm.
he was kind of limited in what he had, and very expensive.
Can't imagine.
But you know, it was somebody you could go and visit and
Have a chat with.
have a chat with. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could go for hikes on the island. The island was big enough to go, and nobody else except there was one old First Nations fellow there.
Mm-hmm.
Who was a real friend. He was wonderful. So he'd come over and play crib with us and whatnot.
His dad had been the second lightkeeper
Yeah.
on the light, and they were there for years. But yeah, he had a lot of good stories.
But it was
Nice fellow.
a nice place. I really liked it.
Sheringham was just too close to civilization.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
And we had lots of traffic going by Scarlet. We'd have the CPR cruise ship,
at that
I
time,
forget
Union
whether it
ships.
was the Marguerite or the Patricia, one of their steamers.
Mm-hmm.
Went up to Alaska and back, and it would go past once a week one way and whatnot. And most of the traffic would come past the light and down through the pass. There's always something to look at.
You know, they had the inspector come and visit the lights periodically.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. He didn't quite white glove it, but yeah, you kind of tell him about the time on entrance, how you always knew he was coming
Oh yeah. They had a
with Fred and Elliot.
ship called the Estevan.
Ah, I've heard about the
Beautiful
that's
ship,
fun.
yeah.
The last coal-burning steamer on the coast.
Right.
Well, they didn't really want the keepers to know that the inspector was coming,
Right.
but we always knew that he's on his way. Now, just when you got to the light, we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But at entrance, you look over Gabriel Island, and it used to come up behind Gabriel, and you see this tall smoke column going along.
Estevan's coming.
The time he got to entrance, we were all ready for him.
He made everything's faultless.
Nowadays, it's all helicopter. You don't know when they're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we rode back from
Scarlet.
Scarlet to
On the Estevan.
on the Estevan.
Oh,
Probably
she's
one
a
of the
beautiful ship.
last trips she made.
Wow.
And it was lovely to
Yeah.
ride on.
We went up on the William J. Stewart.
No,
No.
the campsite,
Camsel, we went up. Oh, right, Camsel.
icebreaker. That they
Nice.
had.
They had an icebreaker
Yeah.
just out there.
She went back east, and as far as I know, she probably was used on the St. Lawrence
Right.
or Lakes or something like that.
Right.
But then, you know, you're
What's the other one?
eating with a crew.
There was the three ships. One was an old one. One was the icebreaker. And the Estevan.
And the other one was a smaller ship,
Yeah.
but noisy. She sounded like a box of tin cans being shaken up.
Yeah.
She was running. I can't think of the name. But anyway.
Yeah. When we moved up to Scarlet after they took us by truck, as we said, down to Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us a week, more than a week, to get to Scarlet because they were moving all the lightkeepers. So I think we visited every lighthouse on the inside coast.
Yeah.
Because they pick up here, then go there,
Drop
drop
them off.
off, and pick up another. And we were the first on and last off, so
Oh my goodness.
we got a real tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Wow,
was-
you must have met so many people, so many of the keepers then.
Yeah, well, they weren't on that long enough to meet.
No.
No?
not
No.
really.
Most of them weren't even on there overnight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
That's pretty neat. I didn't know that they reshuffled that much.
they would do it all at one time, more or less.
Yeah.
Like they'd line it. Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I guess that would make sense for organizing.
Then one time, the assistant keeper Cape Scott and I put in for the same light.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was
As
lights
keeper.
coming up, you know, and they needed
Right.
assistance for them. So we both put in for, I think it was Pulteney Point. And the Department of Transport didn't know what to do. Nobody had ever
They contested,
like they gave it to somebody else. So we contested.
and they
Right.
never had anyone
You
contested.
know, they didn't know what to do, and they got us down, took us down to Victoria, and you know, to see what was going, but it was a done thing.
It was interesting.
Oh,
They
was
said
it?
they would have went to the other fellow because he was an aerodynamics expert.
So what
That's
does that
interesting.
got to do with the lighthouse?
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it's quite stationary. That's interesting.
Yeah.
On a lighthouse, you want a jack of all trades. You
Yeah.
don't want somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. So we've seen a few changes.
definitely, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it almost broke our hearts when we heard that they were
Oh,
de-staffing the lighthouses.
That's something we've been hearing a lot in the interviews. Like,
Yeah.
I think that everyone was kind of heartbroken.
Well, while we were at Scarlet, we had one ship,
Yeah.
fish boat, that ran aground, ended up on the bottom at our light. And yeah, the guys weren't in danger, but if you hadn't have been there,
Right, exactly.
How
They
long
really
would-
had a
yeah.
couple of days of
Yeah.
really cold
Yeah.
existence, you know?
Imagine.
And they, I don't know.
I guess that's something that nowadays you think you're probably fine with, you know, you've got your cell phone and your GPS and whatnot, but I mean,
Not
if you hit a
everybody
reef, there's
has
gonna be
that.
nothing.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So they say, oh, you got radar, you know. Yeah, well, there's a lot of boats around that don't have it. The smaller ones,
Right.
and if they get in trouble,
They
where do you
might-
go?
Yeah.
Right, and they
Yeah.
might be the more likely to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So.
When we were at Scarlet, we had, what, twice a day or 3 times a day radio skits. And that was our only
They
communication,
should,
because you had no other.
Mm.
Yeah, Bull Harbor, we'd give weather report, and that would be it, yeah.
Bull Harbor isn't there anymore. It was
Bull Harbor's
a
gone.
couple islands north of us. There was a government radio station there.
Hmm.
But that's gone.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're helping us preserve the history by
Yeah.
sitting on.
It's awful to think we're
Yeah.
history.
Well,
Mm.
history in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are they painting and scraping?
Not yet. They're going to start doing it soon.
Good.
Yeah, the paint's coming off in places, and I mean,
It really is.
the
Yeah.
red paint is a bit of a mess at the current moment. I mean, I think the saddest thing is the window panes have tons of bullet holes in them.
Bullet holes.
Yeah, people were just using it for target practice.
Sure.
Oh,
Of
for
course.
Pete's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were good shots, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think they probably have to get that custom fitted, and
Yeah.
it's gonna take a little while. But
That cement work, once the paint comes off and it's bare cement, it's surprising how quickly the cement kind of
Disintegrates.
disintegrates.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
is that a problem that you
Flake
had?
off, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everything got painted every second year when you're on the lights. That was what was nice. You had your jobs, but you choose when you do them.
Yeah. You know, you go, oh, we got to paint that shed today. And you go, gee, it's nice, you know, nice and calm. Saw some fish jumping. And next thing you know, the keeper and you are down in the boat and away you go.
And you do the painting
fishing.
the next day.
Yeah, you know.
Once you
There's
got
nobody
done.
coming around and saying, well, what do you do today? Did what we liked.
Oh. That's
I guess-
wonderful.
Yeah, that was part of the enjoyment of it, I guess.
Imagine, yeah.
Yeah,
It sounds like such an interesting and wonderful
Yeah.
life at some.
Sit quiet, yeah.
And then you were free to do what you could. If something broke down, you know, you didn't have to do a protocol or whatnot. If you could get it going, no matter how, fine. You
Yeah,
did.
good.
You know, so you could use your imagination.
I was going to say too, we had one of the light bulbs from the old light at Sheringham. It looks like it's just a regular light bulb, and it's
Right.
super big. and we gave it and the new light bulb to the Maritime Museum here in town again,
It's in here.
in its Maritime Museum.
Oh.
Because we gave some of our marine stuff to them.
Yeah.
We didn't know who else to give it to. We
No.
were afraid of it getting
Aw.
broken eventually.
And you people weren't around, and
Yeah.
lighthouses were starting to disappear. And
Right.
yeah,
Oh, that's
we
a shame.
yeah.
I didn't even know they had a Maritime Museum up here.
Just as you hit the bottom of the hill going into town. Yeah.
Have you seen the fishing pier?
No.
She came in on the new highway,
Yeah, right.
Jubilee.
Well, if you come in the old highway, the first wharf you come to, the fishing pier is on the other side of it.
And the
And
Maritime
the
Museum's
Maritime
right there.
Museum is in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So.
They've got a fake lighthouse there, but
Yeah.
it's the wrong color. But I think probably they had to do it that way because of ships
Yeah.
seeing it. Yeah.
And they got the horn from, I believe it is Pine Island,
Oh, okay.
the old air horn.
Really okay. Is it a diphone one?
Yep.
Yeah, all those
And
are
they
nice.
blow it at noon each day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice that they keep it going.
Yeah, because I would cussing myself. I got lots of pictures of the lighthouses, but I haven't got any
Well, you didn't have sound.
sound for the horn, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And they were such a, well, I'm saying a beautiful sound doesn't really
Melancholy.
describe it, but you know, you stand there and the horn would go off and you could hear it echoing out into the sea. And if the fog bank was, say, halfway across the channel or whatever, you hear it coming back from the fog bank.
Beautiful.
Yeah, oh, it was.
They changed the one over here at Cape Mudge.
Yeah,
It's
to
a
the
pathetic little-
squeaking thing.
Not at all.
Oh.
Maybe it should be, yeah. But we didn't have anything to record things then in those days.
No, we didn't.
You got to remember, pre-cell
Yeah.
phones,
Yeah.
pre-everything.
And the difference in lighthouses, I was going to mention this at the start, like entrance, its light was run by compressed stove oil.
Okay.
Well, not yeah, it was compressed. You know your lanterns with the mantle that you use?
She's a new, yeah, I know.
Sorry.
No, I have a mantle,
Mhm.
and usually they
Yep.
use white gas, and it's
Okay.
lit, and the vapor goes into the mantle, and the mantle glows, and they're very fragile. You know, if you blow on them, they just fall apart. But entrance used that method, and it was stove oil again. They love stove oil mostly. And you had a tank with the stove oil in it, and a tank that you pumped up with air pressure.
Right.
And I think it was 40 or 50 pounds you put in there.
Hmm.
And it forced the fuel up the pipe
Right.
and up into the middle of the lens.
Mhm.
And then you poured some white gas around this burner to get it hot.
Mhm.
And then you turned on the stove oil, and it came up into a tube, and of course the tube was red hot by that time, so the stove oil would vaporize, and the vapor would light, and in this mantle would be a bright white light. Then the lens would pick that up, and so that was the way they did it there. Of course, Sheringham was electric, so there was nothing. And Scarlet, it was very basic. It was a Latin lamp. I don't know, from the
Really?
old days, you know, you
Right.
just had the wick and whatnot. And then eventually they changed
While
to
we were there, they
electric.
tore down the house
Yeah.
we lived in and built a new tower. And that one was, how was that powered?
That was electric.
That was electric, yeah.
When we first went up to Scarlet, the power, we had generators,
Mhm.
but they were only run during the night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to run a refrigerator or anything like that, it was only going during the night.
Hmm.
And then they were shut off in the daytime.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then they turned around had them running all day, which was nice.
Another odd thing I just gotta mention too, I don't know if you had it at Sheringham, but at Scarlet, once a year, you had to go measure the windows in the lighthouse tower, up in the lighthouse, for blackout blinds in case they needed blackout again.
Oh, and the
From the
windows
war.
changed.
Yeah, yeah, they change from year to year. Figure that out, yeah. And
Huh.
how many years after the war was that? 20? 30?
Really? That late?
Well, it was in the 60s.
Alright. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so 30 years later. They're still measuring the windows in case we need them.
Huh. Well,
Somebody liked paperwork.
alright, yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Haven't heard that one before.
Well, yeah, you should have had to do it at Sheringham. After all, Carmana was one that was attacked.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, do you have anything else to add? Or?
I bored you out to death.
No, not at all. This is-
Lots of editing to do.
Oh, yes. Alright. Well, thank you very much for your time. This has been an absolute
Quite
treat.
Thank you.
Look after the old place for us.
Yeah.
We shall.